Hi YouTube! I know it's been a long time and I'm a terrible person. Terrible. In the 6 months that I've been gone, there have been so many big Nintendo things that have come up, but the biggest of all of the big Nintendo things is most certainly Nintendo's new console. The last time we left it was the Nintendo NX, but is now the Nintendo Switch. The reveal behind the hair. So for those who missed it, Nintendo had their final big reveal for their new console, the Nintendo Switch, a couple days ago. We found out that the launch day for the Switch is going to be March 3rd worldwide. We also found out the retail price is going to be $300 in America, which is exactly what I predicted, so woo. Yesterday I actually got the fantastic opportunity to go play the Switch and get some video of it and stuff. The sad news is that I brought the wrong lens for my camera, so I actually didn't get too much great video. But I did get to play a bunch of games and I wanted to tell you all about them. Before I had gone to the event, I was a little bit worried, as many other people are, about the Joy-Con controllers, which are adorable, but part of the reason they're adorable is because they're tiny. They're teeny tiny. And a lot of people are worried about how they're going to feel in the hands. Are they going to be awkward? Because they look kind of awkward to hold already as it is. They click onto the sides of the tablet, and that looks fine for playing, but when they're separated, they're pretty small. I have small hands, not that you can really tell from this video. But here's a picture of me holding the Joy-Con, and as you can see, it looks pretty fine size-wise. Here's another one, slightly more blurry, of course. I can't say that it's not going to be uncomfortable for people with bigger hands because I don't know that for a fact. But with my hands, I did not feel the controller was uncomfortable in any way. I didn't feel like I was going to get hand cramps or anything like that. But also, I was not playing with it for a prolonged amount of time. What I can say is that there are varying levels of awkwardness for how the controller feels in terms of what's easier to play with. While something might not be quite uncomfortable, it might be a little awkward. For example, I thought that the Joy-Con controllers were extremely intuitive playing games like 1-2 Switch or ARMS, where you hold them in more unique ways. But in games like Sonic Mania and Street Fighter, where you're holding them almost as if they're a teeny tiny NES controller, I found them a little bit awkward. I don't think they're unusable. I think they're perfect for bringing to play with friends who either aren't familiar with games or just want a quick little... I don't know what that means. But when not playing multiplayer games or games that will actually make good use of having one in each hand, I think it's unlikely that there's going to be many people playing with just the Joy-Cons by choice. Luckily, one of the great things about the Switch is that there are so many different kind of modular controller options, and the Joy-Cons do connect to the little dock for playing as a controller, and that is just fine to play with. But of course, the other thing that everyone was potentially worried about is being able to play with the Switch tablet, which of course has its own screen. So the first game that I got to play at all was Splatoon 2, and I played it on the screen with the two Joy-Con controllers docked onto it. Airplane. And it was fantastic. I noticed no lag whatsoever. There was no delay, no weird graphic issues. In fact, the game looked great on the screen. So it was really awesome just being able to get my hands on all these different kinds of play options there are for the Switch. And I feel much more confident in all of them after being able to touch it. Touching helps. Touch everything. Everything you're allowed to touch. Don't touch people. Not without their permission. So as for the games that I actually played, I'll just go in my little list I wrote down so I wouldn't forget. Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers, was available. I played the multiplayer mode using the Joy-Con controller, the tiny one. Overall, it felt exactly like a Street Fighter game, specifically like Street Fighter 2, go figure. Classic fans of the Street Fighter series will love it. I'm not really big on fighting games and I don't know too much about the fighting game community. I don't want to speak for them. I don't know if they're gonna love it, but it is basically Street Fighter 2 ramped up on the Switch. One of the really cool things about Ultra Street Fighter 2 on the Switch is that you will be able to just kind of bring the tablet around and bring your Joy-Con controllers around, plop it down, put out the kickstand, and hand somebody else a Joy-Con, and there you go. You've got a 2-player Street Fighter game on the go, wherever you are. And that's kind of feeding into the theme that I'm going to talk about probably a lot over the next couple of months, that the Switch might not be the most powerful system out there in terms of graphical capability or processing power, but it has aspects of it that you can't get with anything else. Being able to just hand somebody a controller and start playing Street Fighter anywhere, good luck. But now, it's easy with Nintendo Switch. I did get to play 1-2 Switch, which is Nintendo's newly announced launch title for the Switch. 1-2 Switch is basically a collection of mini games that are meant as kind of like party games. So there were 3 games available for us to play at the event. So we did first a game that I can't remember any of the names of the 1-2 Switch mini games. I'm sorry. Mini games? Gams. That was a really bad joke. I apologize. So the first one was one of the ones that they actually showed at the press conference, where you're basically drawing. You can't see me, but I'm shooting at the hip right now. You use the Joy-Con as it's a gun, and you're listening to the television, which is going to tell you when to draw, and then you have to draw your Joy-Con controller on your opponent and be the first one to shoot. I lost because I shot the sky. A lot of people were losing because they were shooting the ground. You do literally have to aim the Joy-Con at your opponent and then fire. It's way more difficult than it sounds, but it tests your reaction time. It's really fun. The second game from 1-2 Switch that we played was the one in which we got to milk a cow, which sounds like the worst game imaginable, but it wasn't. You'd be surprised. Kind of do this motion to milk a cow. It sounds really dumb, but it was fun. And that combined with Nintendo's Rumble HD Rumble, whatever it's called, feature, is actually really cool. It actually makes it feel like you're squeezing something, and it is weirdly fun, I guess. But my favorite of the 3 games that we played on 1-2 Switch was called something like Count the Balls. I don't remember the name. It was something. But it was about counting balls, so that name would make sense. And that game was all about the HD Rumble feature, so you could actually hold the Joy-Con and tilt it in different directions, and by doing that, it felt like there were little marbles, little tiny balls inside the Joy-Con controller, like it was a little box filled with marbles. And the objective was to try and feel how many little tiny marbles were inside the box by just feeling the HD Rumble feature and feeling the balls rolling around and seeing. And I won. That one was easy for me. I got it. And that was the only thing that I played at the entire event that really made great, amazing use, at least of what I played, with the HD Rumble feature, and I was blown away. If more games on the Switch use that HD Rumble feature to its full potential, it could be amazing. I can imagine RPGs that if you're holding both Joy-Cons to fight with and stuff like that. I know there are some people who would hate that, but the HD Rumble alone would have me enthralled. If I could feel as if I was hitting something with a sword, or if I could feel as if I was actually picking something up in an RPG, I would... So I have huge expectations for the HD Rumble, and I really hope that more games make good use of it, because I'll be so let down if 1-2 Switch is the only game that does. The 1-2 Switch game is a launch title, and it's $50, which is kind of a bummer because I don't think it's going to sell very well. It's really intended as a party game, and I think it's amazing in terms of getting to understand the Nintendo Switch technology, the different things that the controller can do, and stuff like that. But because it's not bundled, I don't know how many people are going to give it a try. I have to say that I wasn't super impressed with 1-2 Switch when I saw it on the stream, but I was a lot more impressed actually playing it at the event. And in the same exact vein, I was super not impressed by the game ARMS when they showed it at the press conference. But lo and behold, it was one of my absolute favorite games that I actually played at the event yesterday. ARMS is an arena fighting game in which the characters have these spring-like arms that can stretch to punch, to grab, to throw, and do all sorts of neat things. To be totally honest, I'm not even sure which controllers you can use on ARMS, but I played it using the 2 Joy-Con controllers, so one per hand, where you punch, and I thought that I would be terrible at it, but I was actually pretty good. The game makes really good use of motion controls in a way that it feels like you're actually doing something, not like you're just flicking a Wiimote or a Wii Motion Plus controller and it's kind of going in the right direction, because it actually, you can curve things, you can tilt them, you can do all sorts of different things. You need a bit of spatial awareness to understand what you're doing, but it's pretty fun. And ARMS is coming out spring 2017. Splatoon 2, I already mentioned, it's coming out in summer 2017. If you were a fan of the original Splatoon and you're looking forward to more Splatoon, there's no really huge surprises. You're gonna get more Splatoon and it's gonna be just as fun as the original. If you didn't really enjoy the original, you probably won't really enjoy the second one. It's really more of the same with just lots of new features and the ability to bring it on the go. I played a bit of Puyo Puyo Tetris, which is basically Puyo combined with Tetris. Go figure. I would say it's more Tetris than anything. There's some interesting competitive modes. I think it'll be really cool to bring on the go, but there's not too much to talk about there. That one is also coming out sometime spring 2017. And also spring 2017, Sonic Mania is coming out for the Switch along with every other console. I feel like I can't talk about Sonic in a very unbiased way because I have always been really terrible at 2D Sonic games, and as such I've never really loved them very much, and Sonic Mania is absolutely no exception there. I was so bad at the demo. I'm pretty sure I made everyone watching me really angry. Sonic's not for me since the GameCube, I'm afraid. I got the chance to try out Nintendo's new game Snipper Clips, which is an adorable little co-op multiplayer game in which you are these 2 little paper buddies with cute faces, and you cut each other up to solve different puzzles and complete different levels to get through to the next thing. For some reason, I don't know if I heard it or if I just made it up in my mind, I thought that Snipper Clips was going to be a full cost $50 or $60 title. Turns out it's only $20. So for a while I was like, I don't think it's worth it, but it's actually completely worth it. Snipper Clips is coming out sometime in March. I think it's a launch title only in Japan. So it'll be out pretty soon. I think it's going to be download only, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. I got some good gameplay time in with Super Bomberman R, which was awesome. I haven't really sat down and played a Bomberman game since probably the late 1990s on the N64 at some point. But Super Bomberman R was really fun. It was a cute combination of all of the earlier Bomberman games. There's really great up to 8-player multiplayer mode. There's also, of course, the story mode. The characters are adorable. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Also a launch title. Also at the event, but I didn't personally have time to play them, or Disgaea 5, which I believe is coming out in spring 2017 in America. Just Dance 2017, which is also a launch title. Has Been Heroes, which is coming out March 2017 and looks adorable. I wish I did have time to play it, but there were people there every time I walked by. And Skylanders Imaginators is also being ported to the Switch with no launch date yet. But wait, there's more. Last, but most certainly not least, for the first time since the amazing trailer came out a few weeks ago, I got to play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Switch. Be Still My Heart. The demo that was available at the Switch event was actually the exact same as one of the demos that was available at the E3 event, so I've now played the first 20 minutes of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 3 times. So for the first 5 minutes or so, I played on the Pro controller, and it was just amazing as it was at E3. I didn't notice any vast graphical improvements from the TV. It didn't look any better or worse as far as I could tell. I think that there's some comparison videos out there that show it's a teeny bit better on the Switch, but there's not a huge difference, and I think it's largely because Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was originally being developed as a Wii U game. It wasn't started as a Switch title, and so that's what happens. There have been some confirmations around the internet. I can put some links down below so you can see that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild doesn't quite play in 1080p, and I think it's in 30 frames per second on the screen, even though the Switch is capable of 60 frames per second and 1080p. However, it ran just as smoothly as it did at E3 on the Wii U. Everything looked just as good. The colors were gorgeous. And of course, it was really nice to play knowing a little more than we did before with the most recent trailer. We got a little more glimpse at the story, so it made it a little better. The real magic for me, and what I was really hoping to try out in the first place, was getting to undock the controller and play the portable mode on the tablet. I wasn't sure how playing from TV and switching over to the portable mode was going to actually happen, so I was really happy to see that it was so easy. It's the easiest thing that you could hope for. You literally undock the controller out of the dock, the screen, boop, press 2 buttons, and bam, you can walk out the door with that right there. You're done. It seems that a huge portion of the actual console is built into the tablet, so pulling it out of the dock like it ain't no thing, it ain't no thing. Like literally the blink of an eye and you're gone. You have your game and you're off. So to kind of wrap this up, and then I'll give you a quick video of what the show floor looked like at the event yesterday. My general thoughts on the Switch are that it's really quite a capable system. I'm really excited. I'm going to be getting it at launch. I've pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered Zelda to go with it. Missed out on the Masters Edition. Very sad. I think I cried a little. For people who have a strong interest in being able to just undock and take games on the go, like I love portable games. I'm obsessed with them. This is a great console for you, hands down. For me, Zelda alone makes it worth it. However, for people who care less about that and just want to play their Zelda on the big screen and just want to play their multi-platform games, it might be worth waiting on. That's up to you. There's not a ton of launch titles out right now. There's a lot of games coming out in spring 2017 as opposed to March. There's a lot of stuff coming out in the summer and the fall. So it might be worth waiting until the holiday season when games like Mario Odyssey come out. Gotta get that new Donk City. So the Switch, definitely for me. I have it pre-ordered. Maybe not for everyone yet. I think that it's got a lot of support and I think that it's gonna do well. I'm really excited for it. It has a lot of really capable features and I really hope that all of these game developers make good use of them and don't let them kind of peter out, because the HD rumble, it's so nice. So nice. And I'll lead you here into a video of just the show floor and me walking around it in case you want to see what it's like, since this is the only video I actually got at the event. Enjoy! Thanks for watching. Leave your comments on the Switch down below, and make sure you subscribe if you aren't already, because I'll probably be uploading, you know, an unboxing video when the Switch comes out and all other little fun things in between then and now. And I've been pretty active on Twitch ever since 2017 started, so if you have any interest in live video gameplay or just random live chats and stuff like that, make sure you follow me on Twitch. It's really easy to make an account if you don't already have one, and then you can get an email notification whenever I go live, so that's really cool. I'll put lots of links down below to pre-orders and my other channels and stuff like that. So give it a look. And until then, I love you. Mwah. Deeku deeku deeku. Switch. Or is it click switch? I don't remember. There's a lot of snapping at the Switch press conference.